We should try at all costs, Jamaatul Muslimin. We should try never ever to turn away a hungry person. Ask yourself the question, if I fed a hungry man, what have I lost? And the answer is, you've lost nothing really. If I feed a hungry person, what have I gained? If it's done with a pure intention, I've gained 70,000% increase on my investment, subhanallah. If I refuse to feed a hungry person, what have I gained? What have I gained by not giving someone something to eat? And the answer is, you've gained absolutely nothing. What have you lost by refusing to feed a hungry person? You stand the risk of standing before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Allah says to you, Ya bana Adam, O son of Adam, istat'amtuka falam tut'imni. O son of Adam, O man, I asked you to feed me, but you did not, you refused to feed me. And you and I will respond, Ya Rabbi, kayfa ut'imuka wa anta rabbul alamin. Oh my Lord, how can I feed you? You are the Lord of the worlds. And Allah will respond and say, Ama alimta annahu istat'amaka abdi fulan. Do you not know, don't you remember that my slave, and Allah will mention him by name, fulan, so and so, he came to you and he asked you for food. He asked you to feed him. Falam tut'imhu, you did not, you refused to feed him. Ama alimta, did you not know annaka law at'amtahu lawajadta dhalika indi? That had you fed him, you would have found the reward of that by me, subhanallah. Never ever fear that there will be a reduction in our wealth because of giving. Never ever fear poverty because of giving. In fact, fear the opposite. Fear that if you do not give, there will be a reduction in your wealth. Fear that if you do not give, you will end up the loser in the end. Says Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, "Ma min yawmin illa malakan yanzilan." There is not a single day that Allah blesses us with, except 2 angels descend. Allah created angels, thousands and thousands and thousands, and Allah has given them specific duties. These are 2 angels who have a specific duty. And their duty is, each one has a specific dua to make. Ma min yawmin illa malakan, ma min yawmin yusbihu al-ibadu fihim. Illa malakan yanzilan, 2 angels, they come down. Fayaqulu ahaduhuma. The first angel, his dua is this: Allahumma a'ti munfiqan khalafa. Oh Allah, grant the one who spends in your path, grant him a replacement, subhanallah. For this day, whatever he spends, Allah, give him a replacement. And when Allah replaces, Allah always replaces with better, subhanallah. وَيَقُولُ الْآخَرُ, and the other one says, Oh Allah, Allahumma a'ti mumsikan talafa. Oh Allah, the one who stingily withholds his wealth, he refuses to spend in your path, grant him a destruction in your wealth, subhanallah. This world, dear brothers and sisters in Islam, is a world of deception. Allah mentions this over and over again. And one of the deceptions of this world is that sometimes what seems a lot is a little. And sometimes what seems a little is a lot. Sometimes what seems on the outside, on the surface, as an increase is a decrease. And sometimes what seems on the outside, on the surface, as an increase is a decrease. Subhanallah. Perfect example, Allah says, يَمْحَقُ اللَّهُ الرِّبَى وَيُرْبِي الصَّدَقَاتِ. A person, he takes interest, he consumes interest, he invests 100 rand and he gets 110 rand back. So on the surface it seems like he has increased his wealth. But Allah says, يَمْحَقُ اللَّهُ الرِّبَى. Allah destroys riba, He has destroyed his wealth. It has definitely decreased. وَيُرْبِي الصَّدَقَاتِ. When someone gives from his wealth, you have 100 rand, you give a 10 rand, on the surface it seems that you now have 90 rand. But Allah promises, وَيُرْبِي الصَّدَقَاتِ. Subhanallah. When the thought and idea of withholding, of being stingy comes to mind, dear brothers in Islam, know this, that it is first and foremost the stinginess from within which we all have, a natural stinginess. And then it is shaitan that capitalizes on that with his wiswas. Says Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Ash-shaytan ya'idukumul faqra. When you intend, when you have the idea to spend and give in Allah's path, to assist the poor or the needy, shaitan comes and shaitan promises you, if you give, you'll have less. Ash-shaytan ya'idukumul faqra. Shaitan promises you poverty. And then, after he succeeded in that, after he succeeded in convincing you not to give a 10 rand to a poor person, he will then convince you to spend 20 rand on a movie to watch naked ladies. Subhanallah. وَيَأْمُرُكُمْ بِالْفَحْشَاءِ. And he will command you with shameful and disgusting deeds. Wallah, but Allah, يَعِدُكُمْ مَغْفِرَةً مِنْهُ. Allah promises you that if you give, you will earn Allah's forgiveness. Says Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, As-sadaqatu tutfi'u ghadab al-Rabb. Sadaqah extinguishes the anger of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Subhanallah. Dear brothers in Islam, we can never ever ever attain taqwa, we can never ever attain piety unless we have this quality of constant spending in Allah's path. One of the attributes, one of the traits of a muttaqi, Allah mentions in the beginning of Surah Al-Baqarah, وَمِمَّا رَزَقْنَاهُمْ يُنْفِقُونَ. Allah first says that this Quran, هُدًى لِلْمُتَّقِينَ, it is a guidance for the muttaqin. Who are the muttaqin? And Allah goes about giving descriptions of them. الَّذِينَ يُؤْمِنُونَ بِالْغَيْبِ, those who believe in the unseen. وَيُقِيمُونَ الصَّلَاةِ, they establish salah. وَمِمَّا رَزَقْنَاهُمْ يُنْفِقُونَ, and from what we have given them they spend. So we cannot even think about becoming muttaqin, God conscious, unless we develop this quality of spending in Allah's path. We can never think of becoming salih, pious. Allah says in Surah Ali Imran, the beginning of the 4th juz, لَن تَنَالُوا الْبِرَّ حَتَّى تُنْفِقُوا مِمَّا تُحِبُّونَ. Allah uses the eternal negation, lan. You will never ever ever attain piety. Hatta, until tunfiqu, you spend mimma tuhibbun, from that which you love. We love this dunya, we love our wealth. One from the Ansar, Abu Talha, he was amongst the wealthiest of them all. And he had lots of property, real estate. He comes to Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam and he says, O Prophet of Allah, Allah revealed this verse, لَن تَنَالُوا الْبِرَّ, you will never attain piety, حَتَّى تُنْفِقُوا مِمَّا تُحِبُّونَ, until you spend from that which you love. And the most beloved of my property is a garden called Bayraha. Bayraha was just adjacent to Masjidun Nabawi. So you can imagine how valuable that was. And over and above that, Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam would frequently go and drink from that water, even increasing the property, the value of the property. He says, this property, Bayraha, I give it as sadaqah fi sabilillah. Subhanallah. Just think of this, Jamaatul Muslimin. This would have been equivalent to, in this day and age, to a man who has a property, let's say one in Lansdowne, one in Wynberg, one maybe in Muizenberg, and one in Camps Bay on the seashore. And he comes and he says here to the masjid, to the committee, my property in Camps Bay, I give that as sadaqah. Subhanallah. To begin with, it is uncommon for anyone even to come with one of their properties. Here we find one of the Sahaba, he acts on this very verse spontaneously. The most valuable of my property, because he's looking for, he says, Arju biha birraha. Arju birraha. I'm hopeful that through this I will become pious. Wa dhukhraha. And I'm hopeful that through this it will be a saving for me for the year after. Subhanallah. I think my time is up, Jamaatul Muslimin. I think I went over my time. I'll end off with one verse. It's a very serious advice and at the same time a serious warning. It says Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, وَأَنْفِقُوا مِمَّا رَزَقْنَاكُمْ مِنْ قَبْلِ أَنْ يَأْتِيَ أَحَدَكُمُ الْمَوْتِ. Allah says, وَأَنْفِقُوا, the imperative verb, the command verb. Allah says you must spend. Mimma razaqnakum, from that which we have given you. What we have belongs to Allah. Inna lillahi, we belong to Allah, and what we possess belongs to Allah. So Allah says, spend from that which we have given you. Min qabli ay ya'tiya ahadakum al-maut, before death comes to you. Don't delay, because we don't know when that will be. And then when that does happen, فَيَقُولَ, when death overtakes us and we had not spent, we have neglected spending in Allah's path, فَيَقُولَ رَبِّ لَوْلَا أَخَّرْتَنِي إِلَىٰ أَجْلٍ قَرِيبٍ, then the plea will be, the cry will be, oh Allah, just give me a short while extra, a few moments extra in this dunya, فَأَصَّدَّقْ, and I will spend, Allah, because now I realize the value of spending. But you see, iman is iman bil ghaib, iman in the unseen. وَأَكُمْ مِنَ الصَّالِحِينَ, and I will be of those who are pious. وَلَن يُؤَخِّرَ اللَّهُ نَفْسًا إِذَا جَاءَ أَجَلُهَا, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will never ever give respite when our time comes. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to put khair and barakah in our rizq, inshallah. May Allah make it vast and full of barakah, inshallah. May Allah remove the stinginess from our hearts. May we spend abundantly night and day, so we may be of the pious ones, inshallah. Wa akhiru da'wana anil hamdulillahi rabbil alamin.